My name is Joe Roback, and this is a song I wrote called Anadonia. I do a lot of volunteering with mental health related things, and I volunteered in a bunch of high schools throughout the Lower Mainland, and I usually start my story by saying, when people are kids, they don't think they're going to end up in a psych ward. But when I was a kid, that's exactly where I ended up. Historically, there's been a fascinating link between chess music and mental health issues.
As I followed affections to torment.
There's been quite a few notable chess players and musicians that have suffered from mental illness. For me, chess has been a nice distraction from the stress of my life. And music's an awesome creative outlet and a really important part of recovery.
When I think of these days I
I used to be really hesitant actually about talking to people with my experience with mental health issues, but I think now that sharing my story and speaking with others has become a huge part of my recovery. There's this stage in bipolar disorder called hypomania, basically. It's where you're like really excited, maybe a good event's happening, and like you just have this elevated mood. You're really more outgoing and really more energetic, and that's pretty much where I was at the first day of school, my previous school. I couldn't stop like smiling. In psychology they call it affect, and like I had to like just for no reason I'd smile and like laugh, and it really throws people off. They think I'm laughing at them, or that people would suddenly become defensive or self-conscious.
slow education, spin information, shifting the tangible known.
I was sitting in a lecture hall taking notes or whatever, and then I'm just sort of like laughing to myself, and I'm trying to hide it, and like the teacher thinks I'm laughing at her. So in the middle of her lecture, she stops and says, "Oh, you over there, is something funny?" And suddenly I stop laughing. I'm like, "Oh no." I send her an email. I'm like, I have this problem with laughing, like uncontrolled laughter and that kind of thing. And if you need any clarification, maybe you could take it up with the disability center. I sort of hinted at that. I didn't really talk about it much. The next week, the same sort of thing. I have like this fit of hypomania, and I can't stop laughing. The teacher like calls me out in front of the whole class again. She says, "Okay, what's so funny?" And then like stops the whole class. Everyone looks at me, and like even though I sent her that note, I'm like really embarrassed in class. So I talked to her. I like revealed everything, and then like we were cool. Like she was a good teacher, but like I don't know. There's a lot of misunderstanding even at the highest levels. So ultimately, the hardest part about having a mental illness, it isn't necessarily the symptoms themselves. Like I've written some of my best music when I was really depressed. Ultimately, for me, the hardest part about having mental illness is the misunderstanding, and this is what we mean by stigma.
So come dance with me, firm and Anadonia. As you slowly